Do you want to kill in my name?
And now for something completely different.
What I do is I look a woman up and down and I say,
I'm coming to join you, bitch!
Oh, is that too far?
Oh, you want to get into things?
Well, I mean...
No. Let's get into things. Let's get real. Everybody, Bojack wants to get real. Cancel the bubble round, because we're getting real.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Michael. So, you are watching No Time to Binge. It's a very interesting show where normally what we do is the panel will watch the first and last episodes of a particular TV series, and we will pretend that we watched the middle and make up how it got from A to B.
I'm very thrilled with how this show has progressed.
It has been a blast, at least for the last 5 or 6 episodes when we kind of hit our stride and knew what we were doing.
Yeah. We figured it out.
Yeah. And this is a very special episode. Originally, what we were going to do today is talk about Into the Badlands, which is a show that I suggested because I'm a huge fan of nonsense. Cross-genre nonsense, and Into the Badlands is that post-apocalyptic kung fu show that AMC ran for a little while.
High kung fantasy is what I'm calling it.
Yes, it goes off the rail. We'll talk about it at a certain point, and I say a certain point.
We're not. Yeah, this isn't
that episode.
Yeah, this isn't the Into the Badlands episode. Even though I have so many theories about this show.
Perfect. So Michael, would you like to explain briefly, just for people, what this episode is and why it's not Into the Badlands?
Yeah. Look, I know that everyone thinks that podcasters are superhuman, perfect, brilliant, funny, supermen and women and non-binary folks, but we're not. So sometimes we have some real life issues that we have to deal with, and right now more people on this panel than we're comfortable missing on a regular basis are going through such real life things. And so instead of trying to pressure people or trying to do episodes with less people than we want, because the thing about this show is that it works best when everyone's here and working off of each other. And right now we don't have enough people to work off of. So until we get those people back to 100%, we're going to take a little bit of a break. I don't know how long that's going to be, but this is not one of the... I know that a lot of podcasts go, oh, we're going to take a break, and then they just never come back. That's absolutely not the case. We all have podcasts that we work on. So this is not any of our only podcast. So it's not like anybody's getting out of podcasting. No. We are just waiting until we're at 100%, because the way that this show has turned into one of the weirdest things I've ever heard. Like, I know that some nobodies, Dylan and Zach, are both a part of a very strange, high concept, scripted audio drama comedy thing. And Matt and I write maybe the only thing on the internet that's weirder than Silicon Angels in Jack Billings Presents. So saying that this show has gotten almost as weird as those scripted, insane comedies is really saying something. I love to do the improv part of it. That's like one of my favorite things. So yeah, but we need to be at 100% strength to do that. And we're just not that right now. So yeah, so we're going to take a little bit of a break, let everybody get through their stuff, and then we'll be back. The first episode is going to be Into the Badlands because I already watched the first and last episode of this thing, and it is nutso.
I am so hyped to talk about that show.
I also think that the way that this show is what it turned into, because originally we were like, I don't know if we're going to be able to do shows like Cheers or Friends or anything like that, where it's all set in one place and the character development is not super noticeable from beginning to end.
It's sitcom character development.
It's sitcom characters.
Yeah.
I mean, like House is the same way. It's sort of always set in the same place. But the way that this show has gone has really opened it up so that we can talk about some of these shows and probably make most of them way better.
Yes, I agree. And I think what you're saying, I agree with what you're saying. Like, this show started off, and this is partially me not quite wholly understanding what we were aiming for, where we were, at least on my end, it was like legitimately trying to guess what was in between the two episodes we watched. Yeah. And it has become this collective improv exercise where we attempt to make the show as strange as possible. And it has turned from, fine, a TV discussion show, into, as you said, this wholly bizarre ensemble improv show where we create these alternate universe surreal versions of these programs. And part of that has happened only because we all, 6 of us, play off each other very well in the show. And trying to do this without all 6 of us present, I think would be a disservice to, at least my standards of quality, where I'm like, yes, it's good, but it feels like it's missing something if so-and-so's not there. And I would not want to deliver that to people who are listening to this. On occasion, potentially doing one without someone is possible, I suppose. Yeah. But at this point, the world's opened up, everybody's kind of stretching their legs, and yet that also leaves room for things to happen in your real life. Nothing specific, but, you know, people are dealing with stuff. And this podcast, compared to real life issues, is a lower priority. So in order to make sure everybody has time to deal with what they're dealing with, like Michael said, short break. But also, like he said, I want to reiterate, we'll be coming back to this because I think...
Oh, man.
Everybody on this show has said that I think we can all kind of agree that this is one of the most fun times we have recording a show. And a lot of us do a lot of shows. So I think we're saying that, I think that lends some weight to the idea that we will be doing this at some point in the nearish future.
Yeah.
And we just need to get our feet under us.
Yeah. And there was, I mean, if you go back and listen to our previous episodes, you can sort of see the progression of the show. Like, there is the first 2-3 episodes are kind of like, they're pretty funny, but like nobody really got it. And then you start seeing people like, I think Zach got on board first, and then I think I got on board second. Matt was on board from the beginning. Like, I think Matt had more of an idea than anybody else. So, like, I remember, like, there was a moment where I saw the gleam in your eyes, Dylan, where you were like, oh, I see what this show is. And then you just took it and ran, and it was a thing of beauty. I remember when B... I can remember the very specific moments, especially if you watch it on YouTube. you'll see when people get it, like the exact moment that people get it. And then G came in a little bit later, and it was already sort of what. So we don't get that moment from them, but that the moment, especially for you and B, were some of my favorite podcast moments. Like you could literally see it in your face. Oh, I get what this show is now. I'm going to do this thing.
I think the phrase you sent to all of us was, "I'm glad they finally submitted to the madness, or surrendered to the madness." And I'm like, yeah, cool.
So this, I mean, but we said it. We can't do it without everybody. Everybody on this show. I do a couple of panel shows. My video game show is a panel of people that I knew prior. So that's a little bit different. This one, I think everybody sort of, like, I knew you guys. Obviously, I've known Matt since I was a kid, and my own kid who I've known since they were born. But there's different levels of when I met you guys, and I think the fact that everybody clicked and it only took those 3 or 4 episodes before everybody's like, oh, we're all together in this, is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So
I'd agree.
Yeah, this is starting to sound more sentimental than I would like it to be, because once again, there is no possible way that I am going to let this show not happen, because this thing rules and we've gotten our stride. And but yeah, we just need everybody, and we don't have everybody, and that's not like that. It's not placing blame on anyone, because holy moly, the world is a fucking dumpster fire. So so yeah, nobody's blaming anybody. Everybody wishes everyone the fastest getting over their shit that they can. And as soon as it happens, as soon as everybody says we're ready to get back in, we're getting back in. Until then, I mean, Jack Billings Presents Haunted Apartment Complex is still going. Like, The Real Boys is still every Monday and every other Friday. I Love This Terrible Game is still comes out every Friday or every other Friday morning. And Generation Clash, even though G took a surprise vacation last week, so we did miss a week, but that's going to come out every other week. I was like, all right, are you ready to record Generation Clash? And they're like, we're going to Rehoboth. I'm like, what the fuck?
Nice.
Surprise vacation. Whatever. It happens.
It does. But speaking of, so we'll be back once we get everybody back in here. This is also to avoid doing the 2 or 3 week breaks in between episodes, because that's not good to maintain momentum. Yeah. So in order to recollect our inertia and keep things going. Yeah. But I don't know. All the Some Nobody stuff is still out there. Still going to be doing Twitch and Upstream. Minor format change for the foreseeable future. Still going to be doing Real Boys, stuff like that. This is not one of those, podcasts only make it to 7 episodes, because we're at 9 episodes. 9.5 including this. So we're good to go. We've got the inertia.
And in the, we have a group chat going between everybody, and everybody's active, and nobody's like, I don't think I feel like doing this anymore. But yeah, and then B's podcasts are still coming out. Like I said, Generation Clash with G is still coming out. Matt is still working on Jack Billings Presents. It's just one of those things where it's like, man, we do a lot of podcasts. Between the 6 of us, we do a lot of podcasts. Including I'm doing one in October that's every day. So that's going to
Schlo-
also be a lot. And then we're also going to we're also going to be doing like a special thing, and everybody in this show is in that as well. So that's another weird thing that I wrote. So it's basically this show's people and one other person who's not on this show.
Not yet.
But yeah, not yet, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. But yeah, so we still have stuff coming out, but yeah, we need to get to 100% for this one before we can keep it going. But because holy shit. But until then, listen to those back episodes, because if you've ever wanted to hear a real-time evolution of a podcast, this is the one.
This is the one.
And it's also like a relatively short evolution of a podcast. It's not like you have to listen to 70 episodes before it figures out its momentum. It's 4 episodes and we're off to the races.
Yeah. No, I think I don't have anything else to add on that. Just like, we're trying to do right by everybody involved.
Yep. So when we come back, it'll be Into the Badlands. Dylan, do you have any other shows that you might want to throw out there for future?
I think Man-Seeking Woman would be really interesting. It's a semi-sketch comedy rom-com show about a guy in his late 20s dating around, and every episode is like a sketch show where all the improbable dating situations he gets into. Be interesting just to see people's I guess the first and the last episode are interesting bookends. The middle stuff is the interesting stuff, so that might not be a good one. The Leftovers would be interesting, but I recommend
heard of The Leftovers.
I recommend people watch The Leftovers sincerely. It's a beautiful show about weird human, potentially maybe supernatural stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell would be interesting. It's an adaptation of a British novel about 2 magicians in King George's England. And it's all the way through. It's a really interesting arc. It's got some really fun stuff in there.
Okay.
Those are the 3 that I would recommend. Michael, how about you? You got anything you want to kind of line up?
Well, I mean, I know G did suggest Hannibal, which I've heard good things about. So I wouldn't mind doing Hannibal. I feel like The Last Man on Earth might be a good one.
I've seen the first season. I liked it.
I saw the first maybe 2 seasons, but again, it doesn't matter. Like at this point, we can do shows where nobody has seen any of it, and it doesn't matter. And that is also wonderful. I know Zach suggested a show to me. If I could remember the name of it, I would tell you. But it's about a group of friends who one of their friends from high school gets kidnapped. And they have to sort of figure out what's going on. And it stars the lady who was in Arrested Development. She played Michael Cera's cousin / love interest.
Yeah, I know the show you mean.
And I watched the Search Party. That sounds right. I think it's on HBO. Yes. But he told me to watch this, and I was like, all right. And then I watched like the first 3 episodes, and I'm like, that may have been sort of the genesis of the idea for this show. Was him suggesting that show. But I would also like to take stuff like Cheers and Friends, where it's sort of a one setting sitcom, and then figure out what we can do to that one setting sitcom. Like that's interesting to me. I'm sure that B has an infinite amount of anime that we can
Oh yeah.
watch. And as far as I'm concerned, so far the anime episodes, like even when we were trying to figure out actually what happened during them, were still like infinitely entertaining. So
Yeah.
once we start to get into these animes and also going off the rails like we do, I think that's going to be fun. So the animes I think are covered. I'm not a huge fan of anime, but so far everything that we've done with B's suggestion, I was like, wow, this is actually interesting. I could actually watch this. So
Yeah.
we'll get those. Yeah, but G does a bunch of those sort of like teen drama shows, like that reboot of Archie, Riverdale.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I
Riverdale
think
would be
Sabrina
fun.
the Teenage Witch. I think those
Yep.
might be fun to do, even though I did watch the first season of Sabrina and I actually really liked it. So I mean, we can do that. But there's the amount of shows that we can do for this show are pretty much infinite. Like anything that you can stream at the moment, I think we're good. There's actually, now that I think about it, there is a weird Canadian show with puppets, and it's called Mr. Meaty.
Okay.
And it stars these two teenagers working at a fast food place called Mr. Meaty. And the puppets are so like disgusting looking. Like they look like they're puppets, but they also look like teenagers. So they're like greasy and they have pimples, and like the show is hilariously funny.
Oh, this is on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember.
Come
this
on
stuff.
down to Mr. Meaty, where friends meet to eat meat.
Oh god, yeah. Oh, that would be a show to do on this.
Oh man. Yeah, so yeah, we're not out of ideas. We're not out of fun.
Yeah.
We're just out of people.
Yeah, we're low on people right now.
So let's get those people back, and then we'll get this show back on track. But now that I said Mr. Meaty, I think that might be my next suggestion.
Okay.
Because
sure.
and that's the other thing. I don't even know that what we could come up with would be as weird as what happens in that show.
The fun part is, like, I think the Twin Peaks episode where it's like you say something completely outlandish and you're like, that's not a lie. That actually happened. I'm not making it up.
Yeah. Just I watched Twin Peaks in the 90s, but I didn't get it because I was a dumb teenager.
Sure.
And this, I liked it, but I didn't get it. And after we did that Twin Peaks episode, I have been obsessed with Twin Peaks and everything David Lynch. So I can tell you that in that episode, the two things that stuck out to me that Matt was talking about that may have happened, one of them was a lie and one of them was the truth.
Okay.
There is no werewolf.
Okay.
But Nadine does get knocked on the head, thinks she's a teenager, has super strength, and dates a teenage boy.
Whatever.
It is the one thing. That show is great. And everything sort of fits together except for that Nadine storyline, which is just sort of a thing off by itself. And I think that's what's wonderful about something that David Lynch does, is that he can have a storyline disconnected from everything else where a 50-year-old woman gets knocked on the head, gets super strength, and thinks she's a teenager, and then joins the wrestling team, and it's fine. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what's happening. But Yeah, unlike the Real Boys, where I kind of prefer it when it's just you and I.
They're gonna listen to this.
No, they're not.
All right. Any Real Boys who listen to this, send Michael a rude message saying that you miss him, or he'll miss you when you're gone.
Yeah.
There you go. Now we have a litmus test.
But yeah, we need everybody here, and
Yeah,
we'll get them. We'll
Yeah.
get them back.
and we
It's
don't want
just
this
gonna-
to. We don't want it to be a struggle between doing this, which is no obligation of figuring out.
No.
their stuff.
So,
So,
get your
yeah.
stuff taken care of, and then we'll come back and do the fun
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, and until then, I think we're probably just gonna leap into it when we're available, and you're just gonna have to catch us.
Yeah.
I don't know,
But stay subscribed. If you're subscribed on YouTube, if you're subscribed on whatever you listen to audio podcasts on, stay subscribed.
Yeah,
I promise we will be back.
we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and hey, give the old shows another every other Saturday. Just load up an old episode and listen to it again.
Yeah, you might catch something new. You might, if you
and
go to the video, you can watch me lose my mind during the Voltron episode.
And who knows, maybe by the time you get through all the episodes that are already up, we'll be ready for new episodes.
Yeah. Until then, I think we're kind of wrapping up.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say. I think I've said the same thing 3 times already.
It's
anyway.
okay. until we come back, listen to all of our stuff. Michael's on I Hate This Terrible Game, all of the Jack Billings Presents series.
I love this terrible game.
My bad. What he said. You can also listen to G with him on Generation Class, where we talk about movies, music.
Music.
Man,
Yep.
I'm distracted today. I apologize. All of these shows, you've got Deep Lore, where they dig into deeper kind of like pop culture lore and mythology. And Is This Podcast a JoJo reference? If you're a fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Matt Deterior does all of the stuff for Jack Billings Presents. Zach and I are on Some Nobodies. You can listen to Silicon Angel, CYOP Appeal, the podcast, a podcast show. And Real Boys. We're still on Real Boys. We're mostly the Real Boys right now.
Yeah, we're the Real Boys now.
We are the realest of boys on that show.
The Real Boys. If you don't watch the Real Boys or don't listen to the Real Boys, the last episode that we did was on the Greasy Strangler, a disgusting movie. But Dylan and I sort of pitched some fixes to it, and we sort of fixed the Greasy Strangler.
Yeah, go check it out. Real Boys is fun. We've got what is it? A New Hope this upcoming Monday, and then we rolled for Reanimator the 1st of October, so that's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We got some fun stuff in the can. And of course, like, review, subscribe, rate 5 stars.
Rate 5 stars. Check us out on Facebook.
Send me
money. Check us out on send some money.
Yeah, I'll put my coffee.
Why wouldn't
link.
you?
I'll put my coffee link in the description. I'm not going to do that, but
yeah, everybody has a bunch of extra money right now, don't they?
You spent 2 years inside. You're not spending your money anymore. Give it to me instead.
Yeah, just send it to Dylan.
Yeah,
give him your money.
My address is somewhere west of the Mississippi. I'm sure it'll get to me eventually.
Just put a bunch of cash in an envelope and write Dylan west of the Mississippi.
Yeah. If you go to ko-fi.com/vorpalwords, you can tip me for all the stuff I do. I'm going to make that pitch right now. I might actually have some stuff to buy coming out in October, some role-playing game stuff. So I'll stay tuned for that. I don't know. That's it. That's all I got. You have anything more? Cool. All right.
No, I'm good.
Cool. Bye, everyone. We'll see you probably sooner than you'd like.
Yeah, soon enough. Just watch us on the Real Boys if you can't get enough of our voices, and then check out all of our other shows that obviously Dylan is going to put in the show notes and the YouTube comment, like the YouTube thing, and because who wouldn't want to listen to us?
No,
we're great.
Psychopaths, and I don't want them as an audience. You heard me. I'll stand by that. All right.
You heard us, psychopath.
us.
Stay away.
All right. On that note, I think I'm going to close this out. Say bye. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Do you want to kill in my name?
And now for something completely different.
What I do is I look a woman up and down and I say,
I'm coming to join you, bitch.
Oh, is that too far?
Oh, you want to get into things?
Well, I mean...
No. Let's get into things. Let's get real. Everybody, BoJack wants to get real. Cancel the bubble round, because we're getting real.